Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going, everybody? This is Tbone here. I'm just gonna put on my headset right now, and just wanted to say before we get started, I wish everybody a happy New Year because this is going to be my last stream of 2019, and I don't plan on doing any more streams tomorrow when the game is going to be, starting its previews because it's going to be New Year's Eve. And for many of you, it is also going to be New Year's Day, so I'm choosing not to do a stream there. So yeah, so Happy New Year to everybody, and also hope you've had a good holiday celebration so far. So I just wanted to say, it's been a good year, and what I want to do today, actually, it's not going to be a gameplay stream. I do want to take this opportunity and reflect a little bit on the year that we've had so far, and I just wanted to have a little bit of quick celebration. I've also wanted to use this time to talk to you about sort of like my thoughts on where things are at right now for me as far as Legendary is concerned, and what it means for me moving forward. So I see everybody joining in right now, and Happy New Year's to you all. I hope it's going to be a great time for you. And so I wanted to have this stream be more celebratory than anything, but I do want to talk about certain things that has been on my mind for quite a while. And so as you can see here, I am no longer, as of today, my VIP ran out, and I've been thinking about this for a long time on whether or not I was going to renew. And so this is what I will say. I decided to not renew my VIP, not out of malice, not out of ill intent toward Network as a company. It was more for me personally. I started feeling like I wasn't getting the kind of value out of VIP anymore, and so I just decided that I wanted to see, timing wise, it was going to end right on the 30th of December. And it seemed like the right time to, end VIP and then start the year to see how things would go. That's really how how I intended for it when I started. And I've seen more people here. MTM joined the chat as well. Angel, and also Jill Want to Know, Do, and all the other people that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. Welcome to the stream. So anyways, so I decided to let it run out, but then the whole generation post 3, I don't even know what they're calling it because they refused to call it generation 4. Then this whole thing happened, and I had an internal struggle for a long time because during this time was when the community was at its angriest I've ever seen in a very long time, and I wasn't happy, right? But I wasn't quite as angry about it. And I'll be fair, I was frustrated, but I was never angry at them. I never took it personally. So me not renewing VIP isn't because I am looking to, gain any momentum or any movement or anything like that. This was purely personal. But I do want to, talk about what this means. So it is basically, when I reflected on this year, I've had a pretty successful year with Legendary, and overall, with this game, I felt that it was, I had a really good time. If you take a look at some of the cards that I was able to collect, this was when Generation 3 has started, and, we had a good run. We had a really good run where we started really slowly. This is when Ultimate Forms was first introduced, and then we started getting better and better. It started becoming easier to obtain the heroes. Events started changing a lot too. This is when we saw the changes to the commander events. All of the things that have sort of moved on. You can sort of see now like the number of ultimate forms I've collected over time. And this was with very minimal investment compared to a lot of the people I've seen. And this, was something that I was really happy about, and I had a lot of fun, and I continued to help people with, deck building, and every week I look forward to moving, starting a stream, talking to everybody, and, helping each other out with the deck building, etc. But then it started getting, less and less, how do I say, creative for me. There was less creative freedom, and I started feeling like it was coming starting to become pretty much the same. It ended up being a lot of, repeated decks, repeated mechanics, and more cards came out, more power. And it just got to the point where you either had the ultimate form or you didn't. You either were successful or you weren't, right? And so we were sort of in that bind as well. There was also that we talk about how we wanted to go back to the way things were, but things weren't all that great either at the time. It was really a place where if you didn't have the cards, then you weren't able to have fun. But the thing that we did have is we had something to fall back on. We had our dust, and we had the ability to save up for a rainy day. And I had the option to tell people if a deck was good and worth investing in. And so those were all good things. But then over the last 2 weeks, I've been really, struggling to find a place to try and find a how do you say it? A vibe. It's like a rhythm, if you will, to where I could sort of reestablish a positive vibe for the game. A positive place where we can come in and enjoy playing the game as we have. But because I wasn't having a lot of fun, it was really difficult. And so I do want to apologize for the times where the streams just weren't very positive and whatnot. But it was how I felt, and a lot of times I wear my emotions on my sleeves, right? And so it was really difficult to change how I felt about it. But having said all that, I decided to let my VIP run out, and starting next year, it's going to be a pure free-to-play mode for me. Like I talked about, like how I wanted to go into the free-play mode a couple of weeks ago, and now without any more VIP, it's going to be even more difficult for me to collect the gems. And I'm looking at this gem count, 6,500. I'll probably be able to collect more from the bounty hunters. So let's say we have 7,000 gems. Honestly, that doesn't even mean anything anymore in the current pack structure. And so what that's going to mean is I'm no longer going to care about the packs because they're not providing me the kind of value as a free-to-play player. Unless the network team decides to change that and make it more free-to-play friendly, I'm not going to be spending my gems on these packs anymore. And it's going to run out, and I'm not going to be able to get anything, but it's okay. I'm going to be okay with it. That does mean that I'm not going to be able to talk about the new decks. I'm not going to be able to showcase it. And I'll have to be honest with you, right? There was a part of me that really wanted to say, you know what? As a content creator, maybe I should invest in the decks on a weekly basis. And that was a thought that I really entertained when we had the vault, right? Because it was more achievable. Right? It was more achievable to actually obtain a deck for me to be able to showcase how it works and, whether it's good or bad, and just be able to play it and let people know. I really thought about that. But then, and it would have been okay because it was my way of giving back to the community for all the support over the years. But with this new pack structure where it's basically a bottomless pit, it's not sustainable. And it isn't something I'm willing to do, because it sends a wrong message. It sends a wrong message to the people who are playing the game, that you have to spend a lot of money just to play here. And so for me, VIP subscription was something that I thought gave me value. It comes out to $1 a day for 30 days straight. But, you look at other games. Like I started streaming other games. You've seen me. I started streaming Air of Chaos. And I put in $1. Because I got a gift card, and I put $1 in for the game, and it gave me a 3-star card. The way the units work, 3 stars is actually really, really good. It gave me a really good card, and it also gave me a VIP status, and it allowed me additional things I could do already. And that was it. $1, I'm a VIP for life, right? And so you kind of take a look at that model and you compare it to the legendary Game of Heroes model. Very different, right? And so for me, I kind of feel like 2020 is going to be about not overspending. It's going to be about playing the game for the fun of it. And to me, if a game requires you to pay a minimum of $30 a month just to keep up, then it isn't a game worth investing in. That is how I truly feel. Again, this isn't me saying anything. I don't mean anything negative toward network team. Like I actually do feel that I've had really good conversations with the developers, and that they have had a lot of good sessions with me where they do take some feedback. But in terms of their business, like their business decisions on what they want to do in terms of how much the packs cost, this has been the number one conversation I've had with them since day one, and they haven't changed it, right? And every time we've seen an improvement, it always goes back to the expensive mode that we see. And so for me, it's just no longer a game that I feel worth my investment anymore. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the game. It's something that is dear to my heart because I've played this for over 3 years, as you know. And but I'm going to have to look at it from a different perspective, and it's going to be about enjoyment for me. Okay, I've said this before, but I feel like I need to be clear again. If I don't enjoy something, then I would not want to play it. But it's just that if you take a look at my videos, you take a look at all the videos I've made, and the videos that have the most view count is still Legendary, because there's still a lot of people that are very interested in learning about the game. And so to me, I feel like there is still that opportunity to really help the community out in that sense. Even though there are other contents I'm creating, I actually enjoy those a little bit more at this point because of the strategy aspect of it. But for me, like, I make videos because I want to. I started out, if you know, like I actually started 3 years ago because I learned some new things, and I didn't know how to share it with people because back then, there was no really good way to send videos back and forth. So I decided to try doing a YouTube video and send the link because I thought that was easy. And then that turned into a thing, right? Where I kept finding out new and different ways of playing the game, and I was really excited each time. So I would learn about it, and then I would share it with people, and then over time, more people started popping up. This is when I met Dubai Prince as well. And we've talked about it as well, and we've, we would give each other, talk, we had some ideas that we bounce off each other, and then, it was a really fun time. A lot of people came together, and we really learned a lot about the game. But things have evolved over time, and I look at some of the newer players that have come on now, and the questions that they ask is like, these were the things that we learned a long time ago, and some of them are now basically just like, it's common knowledge, right? Back then, people didn't even know how to lock bosses. That was a secret. That was a secret trade. But now I think it's a little bit different. So I wanted to help people sort of not feel like coming into the game, spending a ton of cash on the first pack that they see. I don't want them to feel like that is what they need to do for this game, because I don't think this is what the game should be about. I want to teach people how to enjoy a match 3 type game with great art, with great game mechanics, right? With some of the really good cards that we've seen in the past. I want to teach people how to play this game the way it's supposed to be played again. And so I think that is sort of how I feel about it. But it does mean that I'm probably going to have to take a back seat on a lot of the new decks. It isn't going to be a deck. I'm not going to focus a lot on the new decks anymore because I'm not going to get them. Instead, I'm going to focus on, what you could do. Like, what does this mean? What are some of the options that you may have? Like, I still look forward to the day when we can take a look at our old cards. All of these cards, whether it's Generation 2 or Generation 3 or Generation 1, and we see them all having the same power output, and you can use any card that we've ever seen to come out. Right, I want to see these cards have the same powers as our Generation 2. Look at some of the cards that we've had. These were some of the best cards that we've had. And so MTM, oh yeah, so somebody mentioned MTM as well. Yeah, and so I've had him on my stream a couple of times as well. Like, these are some of the great people that have had really good impact on the community, and there are still a lot. And actually, there are also, while I'm here, I'm going to mention that if anybody is in the chat right now, if you have your own YouTube video channels for this game, feel free to come and comment on it as well. Like, a couple of people I know, there is Octane Gaming, I think, and there's also Thane Emerald Puku, right? Those are 2 off the top of my head that I know, and I know there are others as well that also provide legendary content. So keep it up, guys. Like, this is what we can do. This is how we help the community. And so for me, moving forward, I'm not quitting. Like I want to make sure that I'm also very clear about this. Like I think that I don't want to be ambiguous, right? I'm not quitting the game, but I am probably going to try and go in a new direction in 2020. So I do have to think about what it means for me in terms of the content I provide. And I felt that when I was able to come up with the really short videos that was very to the point on, hey, here is a little trick that you could learn. I felt like those were the most effective. I think the streams were great for me and for some of the other people that that come on. We can talk about we can talk about things, and I still enjoyed that. But I think that the little short videos where I can teach some people some little tricks. Those were still the most effective, and that's probably something that I'm gonna try and explore a little more. But if they continue to make it difficult to get the decks, my fear is eventually we're going to get to a point where there are going to be players that will never be able to get the old cards that I have. And the only option they will have is the new cards, and I'm not going to buy into them. And so there is going to be a difference. There is going to be a little bit of a gap. And this is something that I'm earnestly hoping for a network to understand, to recognize, and to make a change, because new players are going to come on and they're going to be in this environment where it's not going to be friendly. It's not going to be fun. And the community is going to continue to be hostile, right? And there's a reason for that. So that's basically what I really wanted to sort of say, like, get it off my chest. This is going to be the last stream of the year, and I did think that it's been a great year so far. Unfortunately, it didn't end as well as I would have liked, but that's just how it is. So let's see, Tbone, what would you do to equalize old heroes? Honestly, like if you were to take a look at some of these cards here, the very first thing that I think we should do is to either increase all of their affinity bonus to times 10 to match the generation 3 heroes, or to completely remove the empowerment. Like I just felt like between generation 2 and the now generation 4, we are dealing with two types of gaps, right? We're dealing with a gap where these cards don't have the times 10 affinity bonus. That was a huge deal. And number 2, because of killer bonus, well, there is the additional 14 times damage that we can't make up for, and it makes a big difference in Slayers, and it's just, everything about it is wrong. So the first thing is equalize the affinity bonus. That would be the very first step towards fixing this broken state that this game is in. They refuse to like, they gave these old cards, but then they kind of just sweep it under the rug and sort of say, pretend they never existed. These are the new cards that we want you to work with. But that's not how games should work. We should be able to take anything that's ever come into existence, and we should be able to use them. That's where the joy comes in, especially these were cards that we've have invested in. Another thing I really want to think about is, well, what does it mean for us now having killer skills? I think they've now painted themselves in a corner where I don't even have some of those newer cards. Let me take a look. So Generation 3, let's take a look at the newest card. So they've painted themselves in a corner. So I managed to get this card, right? I didn't even use it. Forever Night Umbra, look at this card. It's an arcane killer. It doesn't even have a species associated with anymore. And Dark Arcane Killer Relic, I think that's the thing that we have now. I made a mistake last time when I was talking about relics. It turns out that it's even worse than I thought, right? So if you take a look at Target Arcane Killer, so this relic right here will only work if you have a Dark Arcane Killer on the team. So forget about Generation 3 prior to this change. We have what? 2 cards that we can use in a 50-week period, because it's five different killer skills, 2 different events, right? 5 affinities, 2 events, and we get 2 arcane killers in 50 weeks, right? So where's the deck building, right? All of these things that sort of move away from reusing cards that really help each other are things I want to break out. Like I want to break that barrier. That is the thing about this game. When we first started, it was the only thing that people complain about was that during the event there are things that are times 10 bonus, which is stronger than the older cards. That in itself should already be good enough. That in itself should be already good enough for people to want to use a specific card, right? It's just that they've taken a different approach to how you evolve your cards, so that once you have the card at 6 stars, that's it. Like there's no more need to evolve it anymore, and that's why they needed to come up with new decks so you can buy into it, as opposed to making it more progressive so that you can actually use something at like, early state, and the end state of the card really meant the end state of the card. Like that's not how they've chosen to do it. And so to answer your question in a very, very long way, MTM, it's really just, get rid of that empowerment, or add empowerment to Gen 2. Like they try to do that for Reforged Heroes, and then that was a very botched effort. They didn't even try, right? They come up with it a couple of times, and then it would basically just be full of bugs, and then they never changed it. Or they would come out with it and then take it back, right? Some of the cards that we saw that we could reforge, that couldn't anymore. Or here's my favorite one. This is my favorite one of all. So we'll take a look at this card, and I think it is Mystic, right? So type Mystic. This is my favorite one of all the things that they did. So we have a fire. Oh, did I get rid of it completely? So let's go to the Codex. Let's go take a look at Fire Mystics, right? We will look at Fire Mystic cards and take a look at this, right? So here is a card that you could actually reforge, and I'm gonna just go ahead and buy it back so I can show you, right? So here's a card. You can actually reforge this, but it requires this thing that doesn't exist in the game. They come out with these concepts, and then we call out on the issues that we have, and then they just ignore it. My absolute favorite. Like, not my favorite unit, but just my favorite thing about what they've done with the reforged cards, right? And if you take a look at the reforged Galena, it also is, their first attempt at keeping a Generation 2 battle skill in a Generation 3 format, which is exactly what they're doing now. But instead of making them available, to our old Gen 2 cards, they're just coming with new ones, and they're making it impossible to get with packs, with the new pack structure. So all of these things are what's broken with the game. All of those things I would just want to get rid of. And the pain mechanics, right? The pain mechanics that we have, I'm going to share some of the sentiments a lot of people have. Where is it? Inventory. There it is. I'm trying to find. Okay, first of all, I can't sort, so I can't really easily find it. But what is it called? The long winter evolution coins or something like that. Wintertime evolution coins, whatever they're called. These evolution coins that we need to collect a ton of in order to evolve our support cards, and also to get our 5-star collection trophy cards. Those things, there's no place in the game anymore. Like I've talked about those things. So those are things I would also like to see go away. So let's see. So people said that it is supposed to be in the game. I guess you can farm them, but the drop rate I think is super, super, super low, right? Yeah. So they're just like, I don't know. They're Winter Wind. There you go. So they're not even in the inventory. They're just swapped to gold after event. Yeah. So like all these things, right? They introduced a pay mechanic, and I just fail to understand why. So all of these things are really what pushed me to sort of say, look, the game was great. We have some great cards. I want to get back into it, and I just want to focus on the mechanic. And one of the conversations I've had this year. So you guys all know that I'm still in actually the Player Insights chat. This is where we get together about once a week, and they provide us some updates on what they're thinking about, they want to do. MTM was actually in that before, and I'm not going to name other names for those because I want to respect their privacy as well. But that was supposed to be where we would get feedback. And one of the feedback I gave, and I talked to Neil, the CEO of the company, and I mentioned to him one time, just like I said, one of the things that I keep thinking about is the prices of the gems, right? If you take a look at how expensive it is to buy the gems, like I was thinking like the tier structure didn't make sense, because if I wanted to go up one more tier, I couldn't even do that if I wanted to spend like $20. If I were to spend $20 to get myself 2,350 gems, it doesn't even get me a tier. It doesn't even give me a tier 4 because it costs 2,500. And so I kind of made a comment. It's like, if I had like, $5 or $10 that I wanted to spend off chance for a particular event because I felt happy, I got a gift card, or what have you, right? If I'm in a good mood, something I wanted to spend $10, it gets me absolutely nothing, and it doesn't feel great. And then that conversation kind of took place, and I'm not going to say that I was the one that introduced it, but I will say that what happened like sometime later when they did come out with those $10 pack, $5 packs, I thought were actually really good because they actually helped getting something, right? But we don't have any of that anymore. And honestly, I kind of feel like the direct purchase to get something, like I still prefer that over the RNG aspect of like, hey, maybe spend 300,000 gems and maybe you'll come away with a card that's going to help you for this one event. I still think that that's better. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. Like I'm just kind of saying that for me, this game has been great for me because I really enjoy playing the game and I really enjoy the mechanics. But the price of the game has gone to the point where it's no longer sustainable, and so it's time for me to walk away from that and play it from a different perspective. And so I'm hoping I'll be able to help out everybody who is looking at this game from that perspective. Like, if you don't have the cards, what do you do? That's the roots I want to get back into. And so I see a lot of chat, and then unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm missing them. So I want to kind of take a look and see if there's anything that I have missed there. And let's see. And I understand that some of you have already decided to quit, and that's completely up to you as well. One thing that I do want to say, since we're on that topic, is that. And I mentioned this before, I was frustrated, and a lot of you are very frustrated. We've all had our investments, and it feels like our investments have gone down the drain. And I know that from the player's perspective, Network hasn't done a great job communicating, and in fact they gave an unfortunately timed announcement about what happens if you seek for refunds. Right. And all of this basically didn't sit well with the player base. And so I can totally understand sort of like the mood that the community is in right now. But I still want to say, like, I still believe in more civil dialogue. Like in any setting, I still choose to believe that, like, no matter how we feel about certain things, there are things that we say to ourselves, and there are things that we say behind closed doors to other people, in a more one-on-one setting, and then there are things that we can choose to say in a more public forum. Mostly because I want to make sure that younger people aren't seeing this side. Like, the internet can be a really harsh place, and there are at least some places I would like to see, where we could be more civil. And so I wanted to appreciate all the people that have been in my chat room that have been really, really helpful and really good. And I could tell that they're super frustrated, but they've been really good. And so I really appreciate that. And I just feel like, that's something that I think is still going to be helpful. Now, if they don't ever respond, if they don't ever get feedback, then there's really nothing we can say. And I think for me, I'd rather just walk away, right? And so I'm just as frustrated as everyone else about where things are going right now. Our guild is actually doing okay, and I'm really thankful for our guild. Like, I had to kick a few inactives, but we still have 27, right? We still have 27 in the guild, which is a lot better than a lot of the people. So I'm very thankful for that. And for me, I kind of feel like, look, it's been 2 weeks, but it is Christmas. And so if they're taking a break, they don't have the chance to talk to us, that's okay. But if starting next year, by the end of the new year, they still don't, they still choose to not engage with us, then we'll have a very different conversation then. Right now, I'm still choosing to provide help because I think the community does need it, and I do enjoy this aspect. So I'll continue to go along with it. But if they don't talk to the player base, then we're gonna have a different conversation at that point. Okay, so that's sort of my little soapbox here, and I know that my viewpoint isn't necessarily going to be the same. Like you're not necessarily going to agree with me on that point, and that's completely okay. Like I totally respect the different opinions that you guys all have, and how you want to express yourself is entirely up to you. But I do want to mention that like I'm just more concerned about younger people that might be in the same chat rooms as we are, or in the streams. I never know when a impressionable young person might be watching. And so that's how I choose to conduct myself. But I don't want to impose myself on you. This is just how I personally feel. And so let's see, BBX, do I think that they're going to get rid of more of the older cards because they have before? I think if anything, they're going to make it impossible to get, just like how they got rid of some of the 3-star cards. The cards that we all want but can never ever get. So for example, like this card that I showed, which is the turn delay card. Where did it go? Age, dark. No, I think I should just use power. So these cards, for example, they were available, and we used to get them all the time in packs and everything, to the point where we were just deleting them. And then they basically made them completely gone. Like, you can never get them anymore. They used to be available in a 20-week cycle, and I believe they've taken that out too. Like, they just completely take it out the cycle. So if anything, that's probably what they're going to do. They're just going to make it hard to get. I don't think they can outright just delete it from the inventory, but they're just not gonna make it available anymore. So happy thoughts. What do I want to hear tomorrow? In terms of happy thoughts, in terms of the announcement, honestly, like if I were in this situation, right, and I had to provide a feedback to the player base, like what I would want to hear from them is, number one, a real reason for why they made this change, because it's not deck building. And I know they're not going to say it's business related, but they have to come up with something better. If they can't come up with something better, then I would like to hear them say they're reconsidering going back to the vault system. I want to understand why they think the vault system didn't work. Because if they're saying that the vault system didn't work because of the 6-star ultimate form system, then they've missed the point. Because the whole idea about the vault system is so that we have a much more controlled way of getting what we want. There isn't that bottomless pit, right? The thing with the six-star ultimate form system is completely irrelevant to the vault system. Okay, and so what I want to hear them say is that they've made a mistake reverting back to this pack system, thinking that they're going to generate more revenue. I want them to recognize that the vault system was actually better for the player base because it's actually friendlier to anybody who's involved. The dust system is what we actually played for. We are not playing the games anymore. We're not buying these packs to get our 6-stars. Some of us are. Not all of us are. But we chose and we were willing to buy into the packs because there was something for us. Moving it to this new pack system was a mistake, and I want to hear them admit to that. I want to hear them say, this was the wrong choice for us. I want them to say, there is a path moving forward for us to actually make all of our past ultimate forms into 6-stars in a reasonable way, in a more in a way that isn't just throw another 1,000 at it, right? Because no game should force us to have to do that. There's really not that much more. Like, in terms of the event structure, I think that What they want is they want to encourage gameplay. And I'm going to share something with you. I'm just going to paraphrase it, but there is definitely a there's definitely a feeling that, look, from a data's perspective, you look at how we play the game. We basically log on the first day, we play a bunch of hours, and then we basically then stop. And so, Corey, thank you very much for your subscription. So we play a bunch, and then we stop, and then maybe we come back, at the end of the event to try to get our placement. That's kind of like probably what the data shows, and that isn't great for their growth, for their business growth. So what they would like to see is more sustained login time, and they want to see people playing on a regular basis. But the way that they've chosen to do it, by adding a paying mechanic, so you have to try to collect these evolution tokens, they went about it the wrong way, because they added RNG to it. RNG is never a good motivator for you to play for something. However, if they've made it so that it was like the past, where, hey, if you play, if you get 1 billion trophies, you're going to get, X amount of tokens that's going to allow you to evolve X number of heroes. I bet you people are going to play as hard as they could to get that. And if they've made it so that they say every day you come in, if you can achieve these goals, you're going to get, something, right? Then we will also come in and play more. But the way that they've chosen to make it so that you could, so that you could actually get, a ton of those evolution coin packs, only to get 25 in each of those draws, it doesn't make sense. Like, if anything else, it just really makes us really angry. Okay, I've seen so many people that can't even evolve their second or third support card. People who can't evolve their second relic. Like, it's completely pointless. That is, to me, a failed experiment and a failed attempt at trying to get us play on a daily basis. Engagement is important. I want to recognize that. We should all recognize it. Engagement is vital to a gaming company. You want players to play on a regular basis, right? I want to play on a regular basis, but I don't want to come in and grind myself for hours just to get 25 evolution tokens that doesn't do anything, right? You want to make your players grind? You have to reward them for it. Don't make them grind and then give them like a slap in the face by giving them the lowest number of RNG, which seems to be the most common that everybody hits, right? And so what do I want to hear? I want to hear them say, this was a mistake. Because I'm okay with people who admit and own up to mistakes. I'm okay with when people say, we tried this and it really didn't work, right? I know how they operate. They want to have a couple of cycles, one commander, one slayer, to see what really didn't work, and then tweak that. That's fine, right? But these are people's lives that you're dealing with. These are people's money that you're dealing with. And to just not acknowledge the fact that you try something and it completely failed is something that will simply drive more people away. People are leaving. People are quitting because of the way they're treated, right? And so I think that an apology, at minimum, for the mistake that they've made in the last two events is going to be necessary. But I don't expect that. I'm not expecting them to come up with an apology. Instead, I think what they're going to do is, then the second best thing I can hope for is a detailed explanation for their design decision, right? This is another thing. Like I said, I'm a dev myself, okay? I'm a programmer, I'm a developer myself. And the thing that you want to do with your customers is to be transparent, but you can't tell them all your trade secrets. You can't tell them all your business reasons for things. Like, I wouldn't expect that as a consumer, and I know that it's impossible from a business perspective. So I respect that. And I also understand the stance of like, look, you don't want to come up and say you made a total, fool of yourself, is a complete mistake, because some people are not tolerant to that. And I understand it, okay? So then the second thing that you do then is, be candid. There is a book that I think you guys might enjoy reading, Radical Candor. It's actually a book about being radically candid, and candid just means like being completely honest. Okay, about how you feel and what's going on, and being honest about your approach, right? The reasons for why you thought this would work, the things that you tried to get it to work, and then the data that shows whether it worked or didn't work. These things, you provide the information to the players, to the people that are stakeholders. We are stakeholders. We are people that are consumers of this. We are the stakeholders. You give us that reason. Tell us what you did. Tell us why you tried it, and tell us why it didn't work, and then tell us that you're going to do something to fix it. Like, this is how I would have run it. And so let's see, Tian, you're totally adding gotcha packs to data visualization software. Yeah. And so let's see. So no, Leah, I am wrong. I can't grind anymore because the total lack of keys that kills there. So there's that. It's just, when I used to spend hours playing this game, it was because there was something to look forward to. There was something to work towards. And I feel like they've somehow taken that away. Okay. And so they're going to have to figure out a way to bring that back again. I think engagement is going to be important. Delightfulness, right? And engagement, enjoyment. Those are things that they should focus on. And I could totally understand, the desire to make people play more rather than just buy the deck and be done with it. I understand that, but you have to also think about why. Why are people buying a deck and then just not playing anymore? Why are people getting the support cards, evolving them to 6 stars easily, and then not playing it? Why are they not using this support card? Not because it's too easy to evolve. They weren't using the support card because it was crappy. That's the real reason. Like, you have to be able to root cause issues effectively. I didn't say a lot of these things before, but I feel like, these are things that as I reflect on them more and more, it just makes more sense, right? They wanted to get rid of the Master Collection card, so they turned the event card into the Master Collection card, except they're not calling it the Master Collection card. They just priced it as the Master Collection card. They made the support card really good and really powerful, which is actually really great, but then they made it impossible to evolve, right? And so why does it have to be that way? Why couldn't you give us a good support card that is easy to evolve, that encourages us to actually play the cards that we have? If you want to encourage engagement, if you want to encourage people to play, then you have to come up with a way to actually, to make it feel rewarding when you spend the time on it. So I'm kind of ranting at this point, and I kind of wanted to make sure that the whole point of this stream was I kind of wanted to just chat with people and talk about it, and so I'm gonna take a look also at the chats here, see if there's anything that's been said here. So Mount Fillmore, the problem is not what that does; it's their upper management that puts out unrealistic goalposts for growth and profit, and these employees on the front lines are caught between a rock and a hard place. So it's not in my place to comment on who is doing what or what's being said or what's being done. But I will acknowledge that, if you are working if you're working as a, frontline developer and it's your job to meet the business goals, yeah, there's not much you can do. And I do want to applaud the devs who have, spent the time to talk on the network app. And, because it's not easy. It's not easy to engage with customers who are angry with what you have put out, and then to have to justify in different ways. So I can totally understand that. So I don't want to put the blame on developers. I really want to say I'm putting this onus on the company, on the gaming studio as a whole. You need to work as a cohesive unit, and it's all about what your core values are. Okay, and I choose to believe that network is still made up of people who are passionate about the game that they're developing, and they're passionate about the customer base, and that they're going to hear us. It doesn't seem like the case right now, but I'm willing to put that trust in them still. So that's why for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to fall back on my plan, and that is I'm going to focus on the mechanics here. We're going to try and have some fun, but if things don't change, then we are going to have a very different conversation. So let's see some of the problems that we have right now. We have we had bosses that one shot us, and so we were required to use turn delay cards, but we can't get a turn delay card. So then what do we do? There's all that issues. Wunderbar, aka ODB, welcome. Greetings from Germany. Thank you very much for joining us here. It is now New Year's Eve day for many of you. I'm hoping that you guys have a great celebration. Not sure if you're gonna be partying it up or anything. I will be spending my time with my kids. They really enjoy playing board games with me now, and that's really fun. I got this really cool game actually. If you guys wanted to check it out, it's called Turing Tumble. It's a game where you basically play. It's like marbles. You use marbles to learn how computer switches work. Like it's great. It's really good. My son and I have had a lot of time, good times with this. So I'm gonna be spending time with my family. For New Year's Eve, and that's sort of our tradition. And we're gonna watch the fireworks together. So I'm gonna really enjoy my time and hope that you guys also too. Art Fox Contact. MTM is upset by my language. My language. What did I say? Did I use some bad words? So let's see. So let's see what else. Why do they have to buff the hell so much at the new cards to keep up with the current boss damage? And that's because they like I said, they pinned themselves in the corner at this point. They've made it so hard because like once you get the event cards, if you don't boost the health, then everyone's just gonna one shot everything, and they can't have that because then there's no competition anymore. So you played the whole event with the Water Slayer nukes. Yeah, that's what a lot of people did. I actually thought about doing that. I ended up using a deck that was basically. Let's see. I ended up using this deck most of the time. Oh, wait a second. I lost all of my... I still have it. So this is the deck I used. I was happy I was able to use Hell. She's the one that made a big difference to me. And I am going to totally miss these groups. I only have one group now. I'm going to miss having different groups now. So no more VIP means a lot of the things I won't have anymore. But that's okay. So let's see. So you're at the face of the world recording breaking right when you open when the bulk hero the tracks. Let's see. Faisal Mahmood, other games get free good things. Yes indeed. There are a lot of other games that good. Board game streams. It's a very niche thing, and that's a very new thing. Probably not gonna get into the board game streams, although there are some really good ones out there. There's some really good board games there. Like like for me, do you guys know why I started? I mentioned this before. I started because there were some things to share, and so I used the YouTube videos as a way to channel that knowledge. That's what I really enjoy. I enjoy teaching, and I enjoy showing new tips and tricks to people. Board games, like I enjoy playing them, but I'm not a master in any of them, and so it's gonna be hard to have a stream that is meaningful. Like I'll probably just get chewed out by the people that that are actual pros on it, but there are some really good ones. So let's see. So turn delay isn't needed anymore. You can kill any defense with that one. If you're talking about GVG, yeah, you don't need turn delay for that anymore. But like the bosses today, without event deck, you're gonna have to use turn delay. There's just no going around it. Willem, I don't think MTM's kicked out from the game, but he has definitely made himself known in a network app, so that they banned him from a couple of channels, and I think that was his intent too. He is hiding out in some chats, so you have to go find him. Vanderbar, before the changes was a very fun game, but now it's no more. Yeah, I think that's the same feeling a lot of people had. And so let's see. So you said that when you're talking about facing an angry player base, I see. The point being that there are some really awful days and you have a lot to deal with and you have to face it. Yeah, so that is very true, right? And so Marianne was sort of the bridge to that gap between the player base and the developers. And so I have to give kudos to her. Like, when she started, she did try a lot, but I will say that, sometimes if you don't have a lot to work with, there isn't much you can do. So like if they choose to not announce anything until last second, or they choose to not announce anything at all, there isn't much you can say. And so those are things that I recognize as well. So I tend to give her a little bit more slack. And Faisal, Faisal is a guildmate of mine, and we've known each other we played together for quite a while. So it's nice seeing you here. And so let's see, Antonio, first time it took you 5 days to evolve the event heroes, and then the event finished, and you got your 2 event cards and 5 stars, which prevented you from being effective in the game. Yeah, The number of people that couldn't evolve their cards at all is astounding. So that was really, really unfortunate. And I think somebody mentioned that they spent $500 and they couldn't even get their relic to ultimate, and they couldn't even get the ultra rare card. So basically, a very expensive event card. Or I'm not even sure if that event card, but $500 down the drain for nothing. Like those are horror stories I don't want to have to hear again. So 5 days to evolve the event card to 5 stars. Yeah, like that's not fun. They didn't announce anything for tomorrow. I'm not sure. Let's see. So there's no news, right? No news feed or anything like that. Yeah, the last thing that it is not this. The last news feed that came out was December 24th, and so nothing tonight. I'm not sure. I don't think there was any new videos from the content team either. I don't know. MTM Tbone, The Rock wants you to howl. Come on, New Year's. Okay, so it's December 30th, right? I will howl on December 31st when I stream. You know, when I stream on a December 31st, then I will howl. How about that? Mud Pig. Either way, have a happy New Year. Thank you for always being there. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. And I know that Marianne sometimes checks out the streams, and I'll actually share this one with her. She made the team watch the one where I was just like on my pedestal, and was completely off the rails, just venting away. So I know that she shared that one. Not sure if she's gonna share this as well, but just based on the number of people that are viewing, and just kind of based on the number of comments, I know that this is a shared sentiment. I know that this is not new. Like it can't be a surprise to them. And so, I hope that they watch it. I hope that they hear it. I hope that they do something about it, because there's not going to be many of us left if they don't do something. So in Germany, it's 6:20 a.m. Thank you, sir, for waking up early to watch a stream, and I wish you a great day, great New Year, and a great 2020. Thank you so much. Let's see. Vicky Flaw, the game is no fun. I think that's because of the changes here. That's how people feel. New Year's Eve tonight in Oz. Nice. So I love watching the fireworks starting from from the other end of the coast here. And then it's like every hour we basically switch channels to watch all the other countries with their fireworks. Where if you say Oz, does that New Zealand, or is that I'm not as good with the Australia geography, so forgive me if I sound ignorant, but I'm curious in which area you're from. In my previous game that I used to play, World Zombination, which unfortunately no longer exists, we had a lot of people that played from New Zealand, and so there was a lot of and because we had this element in the game that was it was a game where you had to go all around the world to fight zombies, and one of the places that took place was Perth, and a lot of people actually were making fun of Perth. So I'm curious how you feel about that. Sydney, I see. Cool. Oz is Australia. Okay, thank you for the info. I don't mean to sound ignorant. Like I'm not as great with some of the geography, but it kind of brings back memories of like the people that would talk about Perth, and like the contempt sometimes people would say, or they were very passionate about that one place. Oh, thank you so much. And let's see, Australia's on fire at the moment, and Sydney's still going ahead with fireworks. Well, hopefully the wildfires would stop. It's terrible, these fires. I feel my heart goes out to the people that are affected by it. Queen Katera, thank you very much. So Queen is actually somebody who Melbourne. Is it Melbourne or Melbourne? Unless I said both of those ways wrong. So Queen Katera actually recently joined my Discord server as well. I have a new Discord server now where I talk about Era of Chaos. So I've stopped spamming my network app with that conversation with that, and it's a great game to check out. So you definitely should check it out, and I think that it's a good break. It's a good break to I think to sort of play something completely free and learn different strategies, like there are levels that will frustrate you to no end, but those are levels that allow you to play over and over and over again until you figure it out. And that to me is actually a lot of fun. And so Mirwan from Indonesia, welcome. Anybody from I'm kind of curious, like where else everybody is from right now. So we've got people from various parts of US, and we've seen Indonesia, we've seen Germany, and we've got Australia as well. Curious where else people are from. I know that we've seen people from Finland as well, and we got UAE. I know that from for Faisal. And Cody Magnus, Era Chaos is more of like a hero collection game. So you play and you level up, and then you keep collecting tokens for different heroes, and then those tokens allow you to then level up those heroes, and then you can take them to fight. You have to put them in specific formations, so you have to worry about how heroes work with each other, and then you go head to head with either computer or player base. Check out my streams. I think you'll enjoy it. So we got Romania in the house, and we got Nebraska, India, France, nice, and England, Virginia, Philadelphia, Florida. Wow, look at this. We got we got Canada as well, Colorado, and Uruguay. I don't want to say it wrong, but I think it's Uruguay, right? Like I think the G is silent. And we got Chicago, Illinois, Portland. MTM is close enough to drive up and hang out actually. Antarctica, wow. And Sin City, nice. Got Hawaii, and we got New Mexico as well, and got Mexico. Look at this, Netherlands. We've Kuala Lumpur. So Faris, I was actually in Kuala Lumpur over the summer. I was there for 2 weeks. I was there in 2 weeks, and then I went to Singapore as well for a couple of days. It was actually really interesting. Ireland, Palm Springs, California, Caribbean. This is amazing, guys. Like we're gathered here today from all over the world and wishing each other a happy new year, happy holidays. And, while we might be venting about the game a little bit, I just want to also take this time to sort of say, look, we're all players that have come together from all over the world, and we are sharing something. We're sharing something special, and so I just wanted to say like how much this means to me, and I want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys. Next there'll be the space station. That'll be cool. And we got also Mado, and let's see, MS, just MS. Shoot, MS. Why is it completely escaping me right now? You're gonna have to remind me where you are, Rockdeed. And let's see. So got a feeling about kids. Well, thank you so much, Queen Katera, and Vishal. Thank you very much. It is indeed fun. And actually, this is how I learned about where some of you are, because of the giveaways that I gave. Got Vermont, Mississippi. Thank you. And so. Old Wigan was the winner of the hat that I sent out just the other day. He actually received it today, and what I will say is I am actively looking for a vendor that could allow me to print these hats, so I could send them to you for more of the future giveaways. Even if I don't stream Legendary Game of Heroes as much, I still want to give the giveaways to people. So if anybody knows any good vendors, trustworthy good vendors that do embroidery, let me know. I am definitely looking for something to help there. Otherwise, I mean, like I could probably do once a month. It isn't cheap, but I think that is something that I enjoy doing. So I'll look into that as well. And yeah. It is, let's see, where I see 23 Andra. It's Air Chaos. Here I come. Hey, join the fever. Did I say that right? Join the crowd. Enjoy the fever. It's actually I think a game that's gonna go places. It just started. They just had their 1 month in the U.S. I know that it's been China for a while, but they officially opened up in the US just a little over a month ago, and it's actually really really great. Got a silk screener embroidery guy in Vermont. Okay, and feel free to send me their contact if they have an online thing that I can reach out to them. Let me know, and we can. I just want something I can use so that I don't have to wait for weeks upon weeks and spend tons and tons of money to send it out. I want this to be more accessible, and if there's an online store that people can order for themselves, then that's even better, right? Anyways, so some of the things I'm looking forward to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end my stream with just some of the things I'm looking forward to in 2020. So the things I'm looking forward to in 2020 is I do wish that I could hit the 10,000 subscriber count. That's sort of been like my internal thing that I've been waiting for. It's been growing, and I've been super excited. Like a small, casual, part-time, not even part, I wouldn't call myself part-time, but just like, somebody who enjoyed using YouTube, like to be able to get to where I am at right now, even though like compared to others, like it's little peanuts. I'm very proud of where things have, where I've come and where it's at. I'm very proud of it. So I'm hoping for, for it to grow more. I do hope that Legendary goes back to a game that I love to play on a daily basis as opposed to just playing when I'm streaming. And I am also looking forward to trying out new and different games. Era of Chaos is going to be one that I'm going to spend a lot more time on for now. It is something that I'm passionate about, and so you're going to see more of that in the upcoming days. And if there are more, then I might try it. Right? Like I think that I want to try and expand and explore different things, but the most important thing is I want to make sure that I'm able to continue this engagement, this dialogue with all of you. I've grown I've got a really good fan. I don't want to call you guys fan base. The community, this community that has been really supportive. I've really appreciated it. So I want to continue that, and I wish that you guys will have have something that you can enjoy as well. And my kids are growing, so I do wish to introduce them to more of the games I play. My son is really loving and wanting to learn a lot of the games I'm playing, so I'm looking forward to teach him some of that. So like personally, it's all about just like things that I wish for. Hi baby. Oh, what's wrong? Oh no, did you have a bad dream? Okay, you know what, I'll be right there. Okay, can you back to bed, and I'll be right there. Okay, I will. Oh. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to end the stream in just the next couple minutes. My daughter's got a bad dream, so I'm gonna go and put her to sleep. Christopher, I will say that Era Chaos is actually available for both iOS as well as Android. You could I play on an Android device, and I use an emulator to play. And so let's see, whatever brings you. I wish you peace and love, Tbone. Thank you very much, Kevin. And so, yeah, that's all from me. I gotta go and put my little baby to sleep. All right. Have a good night, guys. This is going to be the last stream for me for 2019. I'll see you in the new year. Have a good new year. Take care. See you next time. Bye now.